it's Andre, and I wanted to talk to you about all the announcements that Marvel Studios made in Hall H at San Diego Comic-Con. I know it's been days since it happened, and I know there's been a lot of discussion about it, and I didn't even know if it was even worth me throwing my hat in the ring to talk about it, but I was actually there. I ended up being there. Oddly enough, ironically enough, because of Warner Brothers, because they had a Penguin panel before the Marvel panel, and I was doing stuff for the Penguin down at Comic-Con. So I went to the Penguin panel and the Marvel panel's next. And I was like, well, I guess I'm going to stick around. So that's how I oddly did it. So thank you, Warner Brothers. I'm sure they're going to love that. But anyway, so I figured since I was there in the crowd, saw it firsthand, plus got a little bit of footage of the stuff I was allowed to take footage of, I thought I would just give a little bit of insight. I'm actually really excited for all of these projects, and obviously very excited and curious about one particular announcement, but I feel like there's been a lot of talk about that. I'll get to that later. The reason I also want to do this is because I want to put some highlight on the other stuff that was announced in that room. I know everyone's talking about Robert Downey Jr. as Dr. Doom, but I feel like there was some other stuff that popped up in there that I think is worth discussing. So let's start at the beginning. Well, first, the beginning was them just having the victory lap for Deadpool and Wolverine. They went all out. They brought a choir out to sing like a prayer. They had multiple Deadpools dancing down the aisles. They were just full celebration mode for Deadpool and Wolverine at Comic-Con because it came out the same weekend, and rightfully so. But then they got into the newer stuff, the upcoming stuff that we should see in 2025 and beyond. So they started off with Captain America: Brave New World.
Anthony, a few years ago, Tom Holland made a joke about how you don't have your own Falcon movie. He said, I didn't have a movie. And I said, well, you're not 5'11". See what I'm talking about? I got a movie, but he ain't gonna be 5'11", no. Yes, Tom Holland, fuck you.
Now, we've already gotten a trailer for this. I even made a video talking about the trailer when it dropped, but in the room where it happened, they actually showed some brand new footage. Some of this, I'm sure, has already been explained in great detail on the internet. They are going to finally address in this movie the big celestial being that's like poking out of the water at the end of Eternals. They're finally going to address that. All the nations of the world know about it, and everyone's trying to stake their claim. The president's like, look, let's be civil about this. Let's evenly distribute this, because this big being is made out of adamantium. Yes, this is how we're getting adamantium officially in the MCU. And so that's partly why the president is looking to Sam Wilson to work with, as well as say, I need you to help me reclaim the Avengers, bring the Avengers team back. Whoever we got out there, let's make a new Avengers team. Of course, Sam is like, hey, Thunderbolt Ross, I don't know how I feel about this, because what happens when we go against your ideas? And if I remember correctly, back in Civil War times, you threw me in prison. The president's like, please, can you do this? But they already were showing in this clip, one, can the president be trusted? Two, he's already telling Sam what he wants to do. And as we already saw in that trailer, you're no Steve Rogers. You know what he wanted to say. You know what he wanted to say. We already saw a little glimpse of it in that trailer, but in this footage they showed in Hall H, we got to see full frontal Red Hulk. And yes, it is exactly how you would imagine. Imagine Harrison Ford's CG face on a giant Red Hulk. I'm ready for it.
And I am delighted, and I am proud to become a member of the Marvel Universe. Watching fantastic actors have a really good time working in the Marvel Universe, and I wanted a piece of the action. And I'm very proud to be in this film. I think it has turned out to be fantastic.
I never would have expected Han Solo, Indiana Jones. I didn't expect him to be the face of a Red Hulk, but you know what? I'm down for it. I just want an angry Hulk again. Like, I got nothing against Mark Ruffalo and his smart Hulk totally fine. But I need some angry Hulk again. And Red Hulk looks like he is going to deliver, and I'm all about it. We actually even see him like get down on the ground, and they like kept cutting to black, and he's like, and then boom, Red Hulk. So they're not even hiding the fact that Harrison Ford, Thunderbolt Ross, is turning into Red Hulk. Again, I'm feeling like this is something that they're revealing very early in the promotion process. I feel like this is something you would have saved for either like a last trailer or maybe even when you go see the movie. But let's just be real. They want to make sure they can get as many people in these seats as possible for Captain America. So it's like, how do you get that general audience? Everybody knows what Hulk is. Everybody knows about the Hulk. So now they're just going, oh, it's a red one. Cool, we going. I think they're banking on general audiences who know a little bit about superheroes, maybe not following the MCU like crazy, probably like the other Captain America movies, and see that Red Hulk and is like, oh, cool, a Hulk's in this? Then we going. So that works for me. And I'm really hoping that we get some more of Sam. I hope what they do with Sam in this movie is basically, and I know it's going to feel like retread, but basically some of the ideals that they had in the Falcon and Winter Soldier series. I would love to see that take place in this movie of Sam this time accepting the fact that he's going to be Captain America, but feeling that opposition that people like Isaiah Bradley told him he was going to get by being Captain America, because they will never let a black man be Captain America. I felt that with my heart and soul when he said that in that show. They also finally revealed who Giancarlo Esposito is playing.
I am, can I say it? I can say it. Wow. You finally unleash it. I am the king of the Serpent Society. I am Seth Volker, Sidewinder. That's a load off my shoulder.
Sidewinder, the leader of the Serpent Society. I ain't gonna lie to you, I know nothing. I know nothing about this character. I don't know that much about the Serpent Society. All I know is the character, from what I looked up, was made in the 80s. And that just makes me laugh because now we got Marvel, He-Man, and G.I. Joe all eventually going to snakes. It must have been a thing in the 80s. If you were in the 80s with some heroes and villains, serpents and snakes are going to show up at some point. Not gonna lie though, when Giancarlo was around, I was like, that's Doom, right? Marvel's like, no, we got someone else. I think you know him. But it's Giancarlo Esposito, so he's going to end up making that character pretty awesome. Torres is coming back. He's going to be the new Falcon. We even got to see more of his suit in this Hall H footage. And even though it was pretty much already known, they did say that yes, Tim Blake Nelson is coming back as the leader, and they're finally following up that setup that they had in the Incredible Hulk movie years ago. So it's really cool that they're doing that. They brought Abomination back and She-Hulk. They're doing this. So here we are several years later, still making ties to phase 1 Marvel movies, which is pretty cool.
And I say how happy I am that he's back. No little tag left behind. That he was there on the floor with his head beginning to bulge. And now here we are.
And they mentioned Captain America, the Winter Soldier, a couple of times on stage.
Captain America, the Winter Soldier. That's really what this film is a return to that. And I think when you see some things, you'll see that it is that level of grounded action movie that we also can do in the MCU.
They are making it very clear that that's the style of this movie. They're wanting to go back to that political intrigue thriller, don't know who to trust, the call is coming from inside the house type of thing. So I think that makes me very intrigued because Captain America and the Winter Soldier, that's one of my favorite Marvel movies of all time. So if this even has an inkling of that same style going on to it, even though they're going to also have a giant red Hulk, I'm down. Honestly, of course, I was down to see this movie. And yes, I will be very biased. It's got a black Captain America in it. I was already ready to go buy my ticket. So hopefully it ends up being a good movie. There've been a lot of reshoots on this film, apparently. So that's a big thing. I'm just hoping that maybe the wave of the excitement of Marvel with Deadpool and Wolverine, we don't have another movie, I don't think, until then. We have Agatha all along the series. So I feel like, you know, as long as that wave keeps riding into February, yes, they're releasing the Black Captain America movie in February. No shame in that game. They knew exactly what they were doing. Happy Black History Month. And since it's coming out February 2025, it's going to be very interesting to see the climate of the country when going to see that movie. Make sure you're registered.
It comes out in May, and it's called Thunderbolts.
Next up was Thunderbirds ***. Insert clip of me realizing that I said Thunderbirds instead of Thunderbolts. But now it makes me want to see Marvel marionettes. Stand down. I'm Iron Man. I can do this all day. Wakanda forever. Apparently that is not going to be the final title of the movie. They will not reveal what it is. In case you don't know, this is the movie where they're collecting a bunch of villains and people who've kind of fallen from grace in the world of the MCU, basically their version of the Suicide Squad. Julia Louis-Dreyfus's character is bringing them all together some kind of way. They're being very vague about what this movie is specifically about, which again, I appreciate. Keep your secrets. I'm sure more is going to get revealed as we get closer to Captain America coming out. Obviously, they'll have a trailer for that movie. When that movie comes out, they'll probably even have one even before then. But we're getting characters like Bucky, US Agent, Ghost, Black Widow. I think Taskmaster is supposed to be in it. And there's also a couple of new characters that they put out there. They only gave them normal names though, so we don't know technically who they are yet. Again, there's a lot of theories going on the internet. I do not participate. I'll let Marvel tell me. I ain't Encyclopedia Brown. I ain't trying to solve this mystery. I ain't Jessica Fletcher. You just tell me.
MCU! It is this great team, I have to tell it. They are wonderful. They are the Thunderbolts.
And Red Guardians in this movie. David Harbour was there in full Red Guardian outfit, having a fun time with the cast because he thought everyone else was going to dress up. Nice little bit.
Oh my God. You guys didn't dress up?
Everyone was saying great things about Florence Pugh on stage, so I feel like her character is obviously going to be front and foremost in this movie, very essential to the film.
I can't claim all the stunts because there is no way that any of us would look as cool as we did without our stunties and the stunt team, and the stunt coordinator Heidi Moneymaker, who stunt doubled Scarlett Johansson for 10 years. We have something to show you in which you can see some of these stunts.
They also showed basically a trailer for the movie. It had a nice little part with his character as well as Florence Pugh's character, because remember in the movies, father and daughter, and then somehow multiple characters are all called to be in the same location. They fight each other, they're trapped in there, and they had this whole thing about there's good guys and there's bad guys, but then there's even worse guys. So you take the bad guys to make them fight the worst guys. It's Suicide Squad. So that's why some people are thinking maybe at the end of this movie, they'll be called the Dark Avengers or something like that. It's very possible. There's going to be some name they're going to throw out there, but they're not revealing it yet. They said that we'll definitely know by the end of the movie. I also wouldn't be surprised if maybe it gets revealed at the end of Captain America, Brave New World. Maybe that's an after credit scene that leads to that name change, but they're keeping Thunderbolts for now. Also, because it's called Thunderbolts, there is going to be the question of, will Thunderbolt Ross be in it? Will we have Red Hulk be a part of that team? Unknown. But I gotta be real, the whole asterisk thing and the whole we can't tell you what the movie title is gonna change. That's neat. You know, it's marketing and I think it's working. I think that is the reason why people are having this conversation. Obviously, there's a lot of eyeballs on Captain America Brave New World because of Red Hulk now. Obviously, there's gonna be a lot of eyeballs on the film after them, the Fantastic Four, First Steps. So this seems like a neat way to keep them in the conversation. And if I were to make a guess, I think that whatever's going to happen in Captain America is going to pretty much lead directly into this, which I kind of like. It almost feels like this will be a indirect sequel to that movie. And I think that what's going to happen in that movie, it may not be a big thing, but I think that something is going to happen in that movie. Something's going to be important in that film that's going to make me go, oh, okay, I see why you made this. So I'm stoked about it. Yeah, man, I think it's going to be an interesting film. And, you know, I love Marvel. I'm literally wearing a shirt with them on my chest. So I'll be there. But will you?
Fantastic Four.
Fantastic Four First Steps, they now are filming the movie, but at the time of Comic-Con Hall H, they hadn't even started filming yet. They were actually going the next day to film. They tried to trick us and say that they weren't there. The cast wasn't there because they were already off to get ready to film. And then Kevin Feige was like, just playing, they here.
The cast is all here. Ladies and gentlemen. By the way, this is the first time all in public, Marvel's first family.
But because they don't have any footage from the movie yet, because they haven't started filming, they instead filmed this like almost like old school newsreel that talked about the characters. We got to see them in their natural element. And I thought that was really cute. We weren't allowed to film it. I have heard that it has made its way around, which is very ironic to me because when the panel started, when the whole Marvel panel began, I pulled my phone out just to record what was going on. And so the rules of Hall H is you can record anytime there's nothing on screen. As long as you're just recording the room or recording people talking, you're good. You just can't record like any footage that they show you because that's not supposed to be revealed to the public yet. So what's funny is that when I pull my phone out to film at the beginning of the thing, the Marvel Studios intro played on screen. Dun, 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 dun. And when that turned on and I had my phone out, somebody that was working there literally like beeline to me and was like, put your phone away, put your phone away. And I was like, oh, shoot, no, don't kick me. I just got here. It's my first time ever here. Don't kick me out. Over the Marvel Studios logo, the thing that begins every movie. But I respect them. Look, they were doing their job. I'm not even mad at them. They were doing their job. But I just find the irony of I almost got thrown aside because I almost recorded the often watched Marvel Studios logo. Meanwhile, the Fantastic Four footage that we definitely were not supposed to record somehow is on the internet. I guess it pays to sit in chairs where you're out of their vision. But it was really neat footage. It kind of gave an idea of what the characters were going to be like. So it got me excited for the movie, even though it wasn't actual footage from the movie. Although I personally love when they do stuff like that. That's what I loved about the Deadpool and Wolverine marketing is you got so much stuff of the actors, but they weren't scenes from the movie that gave you a lot more to play with. And it also helps to not spoil the movie too much. And clearly there was a lot in that movie to spoil. So that was really a good job. So I think more movies should do this. Just record like random things. Like I hope that at some point, this video that they made does make its way online officially. Like just something fun to throw out there just for people to be like, hey, here's something on the internet to just get you excited for Fantastic Four. I think that'd be really cool to do. And then of course, after that, at some point, put out an official trailer of some kind.
I love the Fantastic Four. I love their power set. And it's one of the things we've worked the hardest on because we want to be true to the comics, but we also want to be true to life. We want to root it in physics and anatomy and all those things that can make it feel incredibly real. So we've done tons of tests and concept art and storyboarding and VFX tests and research. We've talked to scientists, we've talked to animal experts, we've talked to everybody. We've gone out into the desert to find the best rock to make the thing from, right? We've done everything we can to make it amazing.
If you're someone who's been reading Marvel news day in, day out, you probably already knew this, but they made it very clear in the panel that this movie is taking place in the 1960s and in an alternate timeline. This is not the sacred timeline.
We also are not doing just the 60s, right? We're doing a retro future 60s. So a lot of it was about finding inspiration from the futurists of that time, especially Sid Mead, and using that as an inspiration to build a whole new world that is part the New York that you know from the 60s and something you've never seen before.
In the 60s, or in like a different version of the 60s, like almost like a futuristic version of the 60s. I'm thinking Jetsons in my brain. Like when I was looking at some of the stuff that they showed in the footage, for some reason, I just kept going, meet George Jetson, meet Reed Richards. Not only will it be cool to see a movie set in that time period and set in a different universe, so what is different about their timeline versus our own, but also how are those people going to end up eventually in our sacred timeline or working alongside the Avengers for the upcoming movies, because they definitely are going to be in those Avengers movies coming up. And it's going to be another Captain America situation of them going to have to learn how to deal with new age technology and new ways of thinking if they're coming from the past. That'll be interesting. We'll see what happens. But hey, man, Pedro Pascal.
You've had a role in some pretty impressive nerd franchises. What feels different about joining the MCU?
You family.
He's going to be shooting Reed Richards all day and then recording Mando all night for that Mandalorian movie that's coming out. You just put somebody else's body in there and just record some lines. Deadpool knows it. And the big reveal in this footage they gave us at the very, very end, we got a little tease of Galactus. We just saw a big face looking through a window. And I was like, oh, that's Galactus. And I don't know if this was announced at the panel, but I saw later on that they said there's only one Galactus. There's not going to be a multiverse of Galactuses. So what was that thing and Fantastic Four Rise of Silver Surfer? What was that cloud? Did he just adopt the name Galactus? What if that's like not his real name? My name is George. Everyone just call me Galactus. I'm George the Cloud. And we saw a flying car. in a room. I saw a car fly in a room. That was wild, man. The Fantastic Car just right there in front of my face, floating. Back to the Future, the musical style. Just wow. That was awesome. That was cool to see in person. That's going to be at D23. That's got to be. They're going to redo that. You don't make something like a flying car like that and not use that as many times as you can. That was so cool. I'm sorry, but I geeked out over that. I think I geeked out over that more than Robert Downey Jr. And then, of course, you got Avengers. They announced the Russo brothers are coming back to direct. No surprise there. They made all your money for Infinity War and Endgame and the other movies that they directed, like Winter Soldier. So they're like, of course, bring them back.
We would need to make another essential movie first in order for all of us to be ready for Secret Wars.
Yeah, there is one very, very important character that is required to do Secret Wars justice. And it could be the most important character in all of the Marvel Universe.
Official titles of the new movies. It's now Doomsday, followed by Secret Wars, because they felt that Dr. Doom had to be introduced before they could even get to Secret Wars. He plays a large part in the Secret Wars story.
Now, listen, if we're gonna bring Victor Von Doom to the screen, and he is one of the more complex characters in all of comics, right, Kevin? If we're gonna bring him to movie theaters worldwide, then I think we're gonna need the greatest actor in the world to play that character.
Oh gosh.
Yeah, okay.
And then, of course, the humongous reveal.
Ladies and gentlemen.
Oh my gosh.
As proof of the unimaginable possibilities in the Marvel multi-universe.
Oh my God.
We give you the one person who could play Victor Von Doom.
Oh gosh. Oh. What? Robert Downey Jr. is coming back to the MCU, but not as Tony Stark. He will be playing Dr. Doom. And this is also why I wanted to get into the conversation about this, because I was in the room. Y'all, the circle of bunch of people I was around lost their shit. When that mask came off and you saw Robert Downey Jr.'s face, even though we didn't know what was going on, even though we later went, how is this gonna work? I think when I showed it in the video, I was like, how? But we still lost it because the man had returned. What? There was an excitement to it. There's still an excitement to it. Even if you're like, I don't know how that's gonna work, there's still a lot of buzz about the fact that he did it. He came back.
New mask. Same task.
Oh, God.
What can I tell you? I like playing complicated characters.
Wow. All right. Like Robert.
And that's where the internet died. They had a heart attack. People had all kinds of discourse. There were people who never even talk about Marvel, who were now all of a sudden throwing their hat in the ring because of this thing. It was a trending topic and people had to jump on the trending topic with the quickest idea that they could think of. And what better way to go is either go, I'm super excited, they can do no wrong, or this is the dumbest thing ever because hating on Marvel is a genre now. Look, I have no skin in the game when it comes to decisions like this. Does it make sense to have him come back and play this part? Absolutely. Because you had Tony Stark being the central figure to help save the world, sacrifice himself to save the world at Endgame. So it's kind of interesting now to be like, well, the main villain that you're going up against, who probably has his vision of saving the world, but that's wrong, ends up being someone who looks exactly like Tony Stark. Like, imagine when Spider-Man rolls up on him and that mask gets taken off and it's like, boom. Remember this face? Remember me, Eddie? Especially if you're gonna be mixing like the older Avengers and the younger Avengers. The younger ones don't have that much of a connection to Tony Stark. He gone. So like they could be like, let's just punch him in the face right now. Miss Marvel might not care. Shang-Chi might be like, whatever, just kick him in the face. But then some of the older folks, they would be like, oh, but he looks like Tony. He might be Tony. He might be a variant of Tony. Can Pepper deal with that? You know, can Cap deal with that? So for the movie's sake, for a story dynamic, taking away the comic books, taking away what other actors could have played him, taking away your personal love for the character, from the movie storytelling perspective alone, I think it makes sense. I think it's a nice wrap around the circle, especially if we're looking at Secret Wars as the possible end of this phase of the MCU and possibly rebooting the entire thing or even soft rebooting the entire thing. It's a nice way to end the circle right there. Now, are they also bringing Robert Downey Jr. back because they had a couple of missteps and they feel like they need to win a bunch of fans back and this is the way to do so? And also because not everyone follows the MCU that strongly, but since so many people saw Endgame to the point where it made over $1 billion amongst other things, that even people who haven't been keeping up with the MCU will remember Robert Downey Jr., hear that he's back, and that will give them interest to maybe go see these movies above anything else. Not to mention you're going to have a bunch of other characters. It is a way to make a lot of money on a movie that's going to have an incredibly high budget just from bringing him back alone, not to mention all the other people you're gonna have in the movie, plus all the special effects. Do you think that this is some way for Marvel/Disney to make a bunch of money? Is this a cash grab of some kind? Duh. You know? Way to go, detective. You figure that out all by yourself? Yeah, man, it's possible that this could be helpful to the story. It's possible that this could be interesting. And it's also possible that it is a way for them to get some money on this Marvel movie. Because these two movies, they are going to be expensive. I will not be surprised if they break records for being the most expensive movies of all time to be made. I see that happening. I can see that as a possibility, especially if they want to go as big as they're going to go. I don't expect every single character from the MCU to end up in these movies, but enough's going to come back or be in it to be a high budget. And then Robert Downey Jr. alone, that's a budget. Robert Downey Jr. alone is probably going to be the price of a low budget film. You know what I'm saying? Chris Stuckman could have made a bunch of Shelby Oaks with Robert Downey Jr.'s salary alone. They're going to have to call the theme parks up and be like, hey, can we borrow some cash? Like, it's going to be big time, big deal. This has to win. This has to be a success. So they are pulling out all the stops.
Is incredibly ambitious. The magnitude of the filmmaking, the vastness of the storytelling, world-colliding epicness.
So I get bringing Robert Downey Jr. back as storytellers, as movie makers, make you realize that this was a choice that was meant to be made from the perspective of the story, even if we do make some money on the side, even if we make some money as well, but we still want to at least make you feel like it was a justified reason. And that is okay by me. I can look at it from the total corporate, cynical, cash making side as well as go, but I'm also intrigued. I'm also curious how this pans out. I'm also wanting to see what it will be like to see him play as Doom. Robert Downey Jr. is an actor. You know, like, yeah, there might be some characteristics of Stark in there, but like, he's gonna play this different. I mean, the man played a black man. You know what I mean? Like, he's got range. And the thing is, the moment they even said that one of the movies was gonna be Secret Wars, and this is even before we even got to this point, because even though they changed King Dynasty to Doomsday, Secret Wars was always the next one in line. That meant, just from the concept alone, anything was possible. Either anyone coming back as themselves or anyone coming back as a different alternate version of themselves, or even anyone coming back as a different character. Look, we love all the jokes in Deadpool and Wolverine. Spoiler alerts, as funny of a joke as that is, that's also kind of a, see, it's possible that actors can come back, but not be what you saw them last as. And now here we are with this. Is it also to play it safe and make a lot of money? Absolutely. But it's both. And it's exciting to me. I am intrigued to see him as Doom. I do want to see what this would be like. I think there's something interesting in the Tony Stark, anti-Tony Stark equation of Doom. If you're doing a multiverse and your main villain is an evil version of your good guy from that was the highlight of your last saga. You know, see, if you watch Power Rangers, you will understand how this happens. We got Lord Draken. We already been through this, all right? We had Evil Tommy in the 25th anniversary special. If you watch Power Rangers, this would not be abnormal to you. So Power Rangers walked so that the Marvel Cinematic Universe could run. Go, go Power Rangers forever. Mic drop. Tommy, Evil Tommy, Tommy Lord Draken, Iron Man, Dr. Doom. Show me the difference. New mask, same task.
Like Robert said, new mask, same task. And the task for all of us, including everybody in this room together, is for us to help create the greatest possible experience that we can all have together in a movie theater. So let's get to it. Bring your imagination, your love, and your passion, and we will see you in 2 years with Doomsday.
Could another actor have done it? Absolutely. Like I said, there was one on stage 3 movies ago that I was like, okay, yay, you're the head of the Serpent Society, but you know, I'm thinking you probably could have done this too. So yeah, I understand that it might feel a little safe, but I do think he will be a good job in doing it. So I'm intrigued on how that plays out. But yes, are they also doing it to make money? Absolutely. It's very possible to be both. I feel like that when we're on the internet, we just have this feeling like it can only mean one thing or another thing. It's either only storytelling reasons or only for making money. It's like, nah, dude, it's both. The bottom line is, y'all know y'all all going to see the shit. No matter what, no matter who they put in this, no matter what you think about Marvel, this is going to be ridiculous when these movies come out. And hopefully, sad to say this, man, because when I saw those dates, 2026 or whatever it was, I was like, I hope I make it. Let me eat healthy. Let me not get my blood pressure up. There needs to be a Marvel health plan, okay? To see Doomsday and Secret Wars. Put me on that Marvel healthcare package. And on that note, it was a lot of fun. I would have enjoyed this stuff even if I would have heard it online, but it was cool to see it firsthand. You know, it was a privilege that I got, and I totally understand it. It was a privilege that I got. Sorry, this is the most unhinged Marvel talk on the internet, but god dang it, it's the Andre way. And that's the only way I can be, baby. And if you like that way, subscribe. And also, The Penguin comes out September 19th. Please like my video that I posted on Instagram and TikTok. DC ain't done yet, baby. James Gunn is coming. Creature Commandos.